Hello and welcome back. Let's do September's bullet journal spread together. As you can probably already tell, this month's theme is The Simpsons, or in this case, the September. I thought I was pretty creative with that one, so quite proud of myself for thinking of that. I started off writing the September in the Simpsons font. Well, I tried my best to mimic the font. It's actually quite hard to do. And for my cover page, I actually experimented with some acrylic paint. It's been a while since I've actually painted, but I thought that paint would get that vibrant color that The Simpsons is known for better than my brush pens. I also thought it would be easier to blend with paint, especially for the sky gradient, but I actually found it so difficult using the paint, especially with these little details like this. I ended up using a really thin paintbrush, which took a lot of time. Looking back, I should have just painted the sky and then painted the words and the clouds on top after. But trust the process, it ended up looking really good in the end, and yeah, I'm quite happy with it. For this shade of blue, I honestly just mixed this dark blue that I had with a little bit of white paint until I got a shade that I was happy with, that resembled the sky in The Simpsons opening scene. I then added more white to that same blue so I could get this lighter shade. For my cover page, I wanted a mix of the opening scene where the Simpson words pop out in the sky with the clouds. Just that alone would have been really cute, but I wanted to mix it with another scene that was very cute, very demure, very cutesy, of Homer and Bart's relationship, which is them just like fooling around and showing their butt to one of the Oogle Cam vans in one of the episodes far back. I just really wanted like a fun scene image that showcases what The Simpsons is, which is just a fun TV show. I also decided to paint this bit as well. I thought the pencil mark wouldn't show through on the paint, but I was wrong. Unless you do like 50 coats of that paint. I actually enjoyed doing the words the most out of everything, and really happy with how that part turned out. I also tried my best to get that really cheeky smile that Bart and Homer have, and I think I achieved it. Like, it does bring a smile to my face every time I see them when I open up to this page of my bullet journal. Let me know in the comments if you guys still watch The Simpsons and if you have any memorable scenes or favourite characters. I remember when I was a kid in Australia, it used to air on Channel 10 and I would want to watch it after school, but I wasn't allowed to. But then as I got older, I would just watch it anyways and my parents stopped caring. Were you guys in the same boat, or was it just me? I was trying to paint Ned Flanders' house here, but looking at it now, it just looks like a random house. I didn't put too much detail in it just because I was working with an unfamiliar, resource, like paints. I don't normally use paint with my bullet journaling, but I do add detail later on with a marker. I thought I was done with the lettering, but I was not. I added in some shadow and depth just to make them pop a little bit more. I then traced the clouds just so that it has a little bit more structure. And yeah, adding in the details to the house now. I'm also drawing the van. I'm not too sure if you guys remember this scene, but it was when the Simpsons version of Google would come around and take photos of the street and then have those photos appear in their version of Google Maps. So Homer and Bart wanted to prank them with their butt, which I feel like it's something that people do anyways in the real world. And I've seen so many videos where people are really creative about it. Right now I'm just adding detail to Bart and Homer with this black fine line marker and then doing the streets. Again, I kept it quite simple, but you would probably notice that I stopped using paints after this cover page. For the rest of the background, I legit only used two main colors, which is 2 shades of green and 2 shades of grey. The green for the grass and hedges, and the grey for the road and footpath. And then I called it a day. But if you want, you can do more details. You can even draw Flanders trimming his hedge, or Lisa looking disgusted, or Marge looking disappointed. But yeah, that's basically it for the cover page. Super happy with how it turned out after everything dried. And now moving on to my quote page. I really wanted to do this meme as my quote, which is where Bart holds up the cake that says, "At least you tried." That quote hits hard, like very true. Yes, at least you did try. And this scene is very different to my cover page where Bart is actually so innocent and he's actually trying. And at the end of the day, he has good intentions. He's just a little kid and he's a good boy. As you can see, I'm colouring in with my brush pens, so much easier, and I didn't need to wait for it to dry. But I should stop complaining because the paint actually turned out really nice and I'm happy I did it. I can't remember why Bart has this cake. I think he baked it for Lisa, but I can't remember why. I just remember this visual image of him holding this cake. So yeah, that's my cover page and quote page done. Onto the next, which is my monthly calendar view. You can see I already experimented a little bit with it. I essentially wanted to do this Dutch door with Homer disappearing into the hedge, and when you flip the page, only a little bit of it will be cut out, so it looks like Homer is even deeper into the hedge. For my squares, I did my usual 6x7, with the Thursday being in the middle of my 2 pages. I also did the days of the week on like a fence looking thing, because this is already like in the backyard, so I thought fences would be super appropriate for this. I ended up doing 2 coats of the colouring in, and that's just to reduce the streakiness of it. But I did like the streaks because fences typically do have the streaks in the real world. I think colouring in Homer is so easy. He essentially only has his yellow skin and blue pants and some black shoes, and that's it. I've realised there's not too much detail with Homer. I guess there's not really too much detail with any of the other characters, but for some reason Homer is just easier to draw, in my opinion. I painted the rest of the pages in a solid dark green. I didn't end up painting the whole page just because we're gonna chop that off anyways, so I didn't want to waste any paint. I wrote the days of the month in a maroon pen and the days of the week in a black pen on the fences. I'm not sure how I feel just yet with Monday and Sunday being horizontal and the rest of the days vertical, but what's done is done. Here I'm snipping off that end part of the page and making it look as hedge-like as possible while still being simple and won't hurt my fingers. This is my habit page, so I kind of stopped halfway and just started writing my habits, and that's just because I wanted to see how much room I had for the hedge once I finished doing the habit trackers. Nothing too exciting. I have the same 6 habits I usually have for the past few months. I also drew Lisa because I know she would keep me accountable for my habits, and if I've done anything bad, I feel like she would be the only Simpsons character to also have a habit tracker. Maybe Marge as well, but I don't think she has time to actually make one. I actually screwed up on my Lisa so badly. I made her look so weird and ugly, but I honestly think it turned out alright. Like, it has a quirky, cute charm to that. I think she is the hardest Simpsons character to draw, and you can see I struggled a lot with her. Next is my mood tracker. For this, I envisioned Homer on the ground basically collapse because he's eaten so much food. We know he loves food and he's surrounded by all these really delicious treats. And each treat is one day of the month. I included all of his favorite things, so donuts, hamburgers, Duff beer, pizzas, hot dogs, chicken, anything that I've seen Homer eat on the show, and things that I know he'll like to eat anyways. I hope it doesn't end up looking too messy and more like a really cool painting once the month is over and I've coloured everything in with my mood. I also drew Chief Wiggum's police hat here as a little Easter egg. I didn't actually draw any of the other Simpsons characters, just the main family. Actually, I didn't even draw Marge or Maggie. Maybe I could do a part 2 for another month where I focus on other characters in The Simpsons. There were also a lot of just empty space, so I filled it in with other snacks, small things like lollies or candy, and I sort of go a bit back and forth between the 2 pages with the painting and colouring in. I love how Homer looks just so defeated, tired, like he's eaten so much food and he's just done. It looks like he has the meat sweats and is about to pass out. I also coloured some of the snacks in, and that's basically it for the habit and mood tracker. Next up is my sort of like brain dump junk journal side of my bullet journal. On the left, I drew the picture that The Simpsons has hanging on the wall, which is the boat sailing with the 2 clouds. This was quite simple and easy for me to draw, and worked out well because my hand was actually hurting from all the donuts I had to draw earlier. I thought I could freehand drawing this, but my bullet journal is so chunky right now and there's a lot of stuff in it, so all of my lines became wobbly, as you can see, and so I used the ruler for the straight lines. I also just coloured in the boat in a brown, the water in a blue, and the frame in a lighter shade of brown. I didn't really do anything in the background, only because I want to stick all of the things that I collect for this month. I actually really like how this turned out, so I might turn it into another quote page and leave another page later for the junk journaling bit of it. For the page on the right, I decided to draw The Simpsons TV. I feel like this was a staple that I had to include in my bullet journal, only because you can see the family always watching TV. Homer absolutely loves it. Itchy and Scratchy plays on it. So yeah, I had to include it. I decided to use this page as my notes page, so I'll write all of my to-do things on it, my lists, and any memos that I want to track. I was contemplating if I should colour in the screen in a black, because when the TV is off it's black, but I decided not to because it'll be easier to write. So yeah, that's my Simpsons themed September bullet journal spread. I hope you enjoyed. If you recreate this, please let us know. Our socials are below. And don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Bye!